Good afternoon. Y'all can say it. It's okay. Good afternoon. That sounds better. I'm Jan McCoy. I'm the associate pastor here at Covington First United Methodist Church. And on behalf of the church, it is our honor and pleasure to be able to hold this service here for you. They give me wonderful jobs like tell them where the restrooms are. Okay, so should you need the restroom during the service, please feel free. Do not be upset at all if you have to get up. People do it all the time. So you would just walk right through these doors and down the hall, and at the first intersection, you're going to see them right there on the right. So that's where the restrooms are. We are delighted that you are here to worship with us this afternoon. And I think that's it. Okay, great. So it's Phil's turn.
Good afternoon again. So good to see y'all here. My name is Phil Stone, and I'm with Longleaf. And on behalf of myself, our staff, and our volunteers, I want to welcome you here today. Obviously, we have this service every year, but you know what happened last year, so we didn't have it last year. So we're so thankful to be able to be here in person with you today, and that you are socially distanced and masked, and we're all doing our best to take care of each other, so thank you for that. I do want to thank First Methodist Church here in Covington for hosting us today, in particular Pastor Doug Gilreath, who I don't think is here, but Pastors Jan McCoy and Claudia Minge, who's with First Methodist here, and Claudia is also on our Longleaf Hospice Foundation board, so we love her for that too. And I also want to thank Longleaf Hospice Foundation that sponsors this event, our volunteers, some are here today helping us, and our staff for being here today, but also what they do every day, and you all are aware of that. We're here today because we have all lost someone dear to us, and you allowed us to participate in their hospice care and travel that journey with you. And for that, we are honored and eternally grateful. We share in your grief. It's our hope today that by being together and remembering that this will be a source of comfort and peace for you. Today is a day to remember and celebrate those who have gone on before us. So again, thank you for being here.
It's common that we light candles when we gather in community. Candles may help us recall memories from the past or help us look to the future. And today, they signify our gathering and sharing in this place. We gather today in love, courage, peace, gratitude, and hope. And we acknowledge that we have endured unprecedented losses over the past 18 months through the COVID crisis.
We light this first COVID candle for those who suffer with COVID. As the world has turned in pandemic, we have been drawn closer together by universal pain and loss. We have been pushed farther apart by loneliness, isolation, and differences of opinion. We light this one candle remembering that we are one world in life, one world in suffering, one world in loss and pain, and one world in death. We light this first candle remembering our universal pain and our universal struggle while never forgetting our universal connection with each other through life.
We light this first candle for our love. Love is a bond that connects us across time and space. Love lives on in our memory. It brings meaning to our present life, and it draws us into the future. Love reaches beyond all boundaries and limitation, and it continues to hold us, comfort us, and encourage us. We light this candle for our love.
We light the second candle for courage. It has been said that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to proceed in spirit of it. Inspired by those who have gone before us, we are given the courage to continue taking one step at a time upon our own unique pathways of life. We light this candle for our courage. We light this third candle for peace. Peace within ourselves and with our families, homes, communities, and world. Peace is the place of calm and clarity within ourselves, but it's also a gift we share with one another. It's the power of healing and comfort, of joy and of laughter. It's the way that we support and celebrate one another in our daily lives. We light this candle for peace.
We light this fourth candle for our gratitude. Our lives have been forever changed by those we love and by those who have loved us, and we are grateful. It is said that gratitude is a memory of the heart. We give thanks today for the things that we have learned through the good times and the difficult times, for the experiences we have shared, and for the dimensions of life we can appreciate more fully. We light this candle in gratitude.
We light this final candle for hope and for our future. Hope is a gift both carried within each of us and lifted up for one another. It's the gentle reminder that we are not alone, we are cared for, and that our lives continue to have meaning and purpose. Hope is a light in the darkness. It's a smile in the midst of tears, a healing touch to comfort our pain. Hope is connected to our memories, and it carries us into the future. Hope is a light shining upon us today. We join together in hope for the health and well-being of our world, for a new life, for equity and for justice and for clarity, and we long for strengthening relationships with people around us, and we will help each other maintain connections with those who have died. We will make space for ourselves to remember, to breathe, to rest during this year and in the years to come. We light this candle for our hope.
In the midst of darkness, there can be great light. At the bottom of despair, there can appear a great hope. And deep within loneliness, there can dwell a great love. I believe these things because others have shown the way. Others who have lost and have then grown through their losing. Others who have suffered and then found new meaning. So I know I am not alone. I am accompanied day after night, night after day.
Good afternoon, everyone. So as I was preparing this, my thoughts coming together, I was, I texted Marcy earlier and was like, okay, so it's supposed to be 2 to 3 minutes, right? And I ran over at one time and it was like 8 minutes long. So I think that's just what happens when you're passionate about something and you've got so much to say and you want to say it all and trying to get it to come together. So bear with me, it's not going to be that long. But my name is Wendy Jakes. I'm the full-time LPN for Longleaf Covington team for 6 years, 2 months, and 15 days now, and hopefully many more to come. I say it in that great detail because of how extremely grateful I am to not only be working in the specialty of hospice, but to be doing it for such an amazing company, such an amazing team. I do want to again thank all of you for coming today, taking time out of your schedules. We know that you're all busy and we know this is a tough, really scary time. But you guys are the heart of why we do what we do. The loved ones, the caregivers, the ones that are there 24/7. As I like to always remind you when I first meet you after coming on to our services, of course we are there for the patient, but we are there for you. We know that this is hard on you mentally, emotionally, and physically. It's draining. We know that we do see you, we pray for you, and we care. But we also know that no matter how hard it is, you would do it all over and over again if you could. So thank you for allowing us into your homes, your personal space, and into your lives. So why hospice? Why do I do this? That's like the age-old question. They say, isn't that so sad? Well, of course it can be, and some days are harder than others, but I just like to tell you how rewarding it really can be. Because if you know me, you know it's not all about what happens to you, but it's about what you do with it, how you react to it that matters the most. And I pray each day as I begin, I try to remind myself that this is their journey. This is what they're going through. It doesn't matter the hundreds and hundreds of times I've done this or walked into homes. This is fresh for you. This is the diagnosis that you just got, the news that you got, the life-changing news. So I pray at that day, Lord, give me the compassion and understanding, wisdom in my words, and strength for comfort. So we thank you. As hospice nurses, we anticipate death coming. We help navigate the unique and often tumultuous journey towards the end of life for so many. But I truly believe that in no other area of nursing can nurses connect with people that they truly get that connection with and have been given that soul-crushing diagnosis of the terminal illness. I count it a privilege that we get to be a part of someone's last days, hours, minutes, and seconds on this earth, that we have the ability to help ease their suffering for both the patients and their families as they prepare to say goodbye for the last one. I believe that as nurses and as a hospice team, we get it to be a different breed of compassion, honesty, and strength. We do the deeds and have the conversations that most shy away from. But we fall absolutely, madly, deeply in love with those people in their most raw and vulnerable states of themselves. We cry, laugh, sing, and dance with patients and families, knowing that we're going to get attached and knowing that their time is limited. And we carry that weight of life and death every day. At Longleaf, our slogan is specializing in more good days. And as hospice nurses and the team, that's what we do. We attempt in the very best way we can to optimize and enrich the life that we know is limited. So can it be sad? Can it be negative on life? There are days, sure. Some days are definitely harder than others. But ultimately, absolutely not. It makes me appreciate life even more. It opens my eyes in a way I truly believe would not be opened if it were not for this journey. My calling is not necessarily hospice. My calling is to serve, and this is one of the avenues in which I'm fulfilling that calling. It has helped me to see the world in its most raw, unfair form of reality, and somehow, for the grace of humanity and the depth of courage, still absolutely love it. Because to me, to feel loved at the end of the life is the most important gift that we can give someone. I count myself very lucky to get to meet new people constantly from all walks of life. And especially being born and raised in this area, I get to be with people that I know or have some connection with. And each story is special in its own way. I will never forget the patient telling me each week, "Why be moody when you can shake your booty?" I won't forget the stories of World War II being present the day Pearl Harbor was bombed. I won't forget the love stories of those being married 67 years and how they made it work all that time, and now they can't bear the thought of ever being apart. I won't forget you telling me that you're only 38 years old and you're not ready to die. I won't forget bearing witness to small children being told for the first time that their daddy is dying soon. I won't forget that while I'm trying to give pain meds in your IV port, that you hear my stomach growling almost every single time, and so you offer me a sandwich and insist that I stop to eat, and because you know that I've been too busy that day. I won't forget the birthday parties celebrated that mean more now than ever before. And I won't forget you looking up at me from the bed with your weak and tired eyes and whispering, "Thank you. You're just thanking me for what I consider just doing my job." And many, many stories like this I won't forget. So sometimes I inspire my patients, but more oftentimes they inspire me. So I just leave you with this little bit of advice to hug everyone a little bit tighter, be present in the moment, say I love you way too much, and love with everything that you have. Take lots and lots of pictures. And if you're like me, there's like 13,146 on my phone right now of pictures. So take them because you never know when it's going to be the last minute. Give big and love fiercely, and learn to let things go. Don't take any moment, any second, no matter how big or small, for granted. And don't underestimate the power of a smile, a touch, a kind word, and how much it can mean to somebody else. Today, I feel very successful because, as Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, to know that even one life has breathed easier because you have lived, that is to have succeeded. And you should feel successful too. Thank you very much.
You were 43 when you got the news. Life will be changing, nothing we can do. The clock is ticking now. All I can think about is knowing I'll have to move on without you somehow. And I just can't believe that you're the one who's keeping it together. As you hold my hand and say, it's okay to cry. It's okay to fall apart. You don't have to try to be strong when you are not. And it may take some time to make sense of all your thoughts. But don't ever fight your tears, 'cause there is freedom in every drop. Sometimes the only way to heal a broken heart is when we fall apart. You asked me to sing some songs that I wrote, but I can barely speak, barely play a note. All my tears rush in, falling on my strings, and make the sound of these progressions have a different ring. And I hate to say goodbye, knowing this will be the last time we're together. As you close your eyes and say, it's okay to cry, it's okay to fall apart. You don't have to try to be strong when you are not. And it may take some time to make sense of all your thoughts. But don't ever fight your tears, 'cause there is freedom in every drop. Sometimes the only way to heal a broken heart is when we fall apart. And you've got the gift of mercy. Don't ever think it's strange. Not a curse, but it is a blessing to feel other people's pain and always love without condition and trust with all your heart. There's healing in the story of your scars. Well, it's been a while since you've been gone. Sometimes I still catch myself trying to call your phone. All the hopes and dreams we used to talk about, they're still alive in me, and I just hope I make you proud. Now I'm your legacy, and it's your love still holding me together. And I still hear you say, it's okay to cry, it's okay to fall apart. You don't have to try to be strong when you are not. And it may take some time to make sense of all your thoughts. But don't ever fight your tears, 'cause there is freedom in every drop. Sometimes the only way to heal a broken heart is when we fall apart. Sometimes the only way to heal a broken heart is when we fall apart.
course, I have to be the one to follow that beautiful song. Hi, everybody. My name is Dara McMillan, and I am a social worker here with Longleaf Hospice. And like Wendy, I was asked to speak today and talk a little bit about why hospice and what does it mean to me. So I started to think about when we're born, our birth experience, coming into this world. For many of us as infants, it's really a very uncertain journey that we're now embarking on, coming out of a cozy, warm, secure place into something very unfamiliar. What seems to help us as tiny infants during this time on this new journey is the people around us. We rely heavily upon our senses to navigate this new place, and for the first time, this is when we get to experience love. We do it through our senses, the touch that we feel from our parents and those around us, that skin-to-skin contact, the voices that are all speaking to us very lovingly, all of the new smells that we take in. And it's been said that the birth experience can actually be very difficult and even traumatic for a newborn. So it's pretty incredible how everyone really focuses on surrounding that newborn with what it needs to make the transition easier. I like to think about hospice and the experience of hospice in that similar way, meaning your hospice team is here to surround, love, comfort, and support you and your loved ones through this next transition. I like to think of it as a full circle experience of life. While none of us can control or predict with any kind of certainty what our end-of-life journey may be like, when you know your hospice team is going to be there providing similar to care to what you experienced at the beginning of life, it helps. We provide touch. Think about the nurses that are there checking vital signs, nursing assistants, focusing on the personal care of your loved one and providing that dignity of life. All of the voices from your hospice team, providing verbal reassurance, spoken prayers, and ongoing encouragement that we are here on this journey with you. If someone can transition from this world feeling loved, like they did when they started in this world, knowing that all of their needs are met, they have everything they could possibly need, then hasn't their life truly come full circle? To me, and hopefully you too, that's hospice care. It's a journey that we are on together. We're on it with you and your loved ones because you put your trust in us. Life is meaningful because of the connections that we form with one another. That's what life is about. And so today we remember those that we loved and you loved. And we're connected because of that. And we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for allowing us, your hospice team members, who have been on this journey alongside you. I wish each and every one of you blessings now and always.
The Japanese maple tree has been chosen as the symbol of this year's ceremony of remembrance because of its rich symbolism in art, gardening, and poetry. This tree features foliage that turns shades of deep red and purple each spring and fall, reminding us that life renews and goes through different stages. And while each stage is different, each is as beautiful as the one before. A symbol of peace and serenity, the Japanese maple represents balance, rest, calm, and peace. Planting a Japanese maple tree is a way of welcoming autumn as a friend. In the cycle of life, autumn can happen at different times and at different ages in humans. But autumn reminds us that as life ends, so new life begins. This Japanese maple will be planted on the campus of Covington First United Methodist Church and will be a memorial to the lives that we remember today. Each one of these lives experienced the autumn of life at different ages and for different reasons. Some experienced COVID, some cancer, some normal aging issues, and some other types of autumns in their lives. As I call each person's name, we invite the family of that person to stand as Marcy places the stone with your loved one's name into the base of the tree. We hope that this memorial and the seeded heart that you received to plant in your own garden will remind you that death is as much a part of life as the seasons of the year. As your new life springs forth in your own gardens, we invite you to share your pictures and memories on the Longleaf Facebook page so that we can all share in these living tributes and reminders that our loved ones will always remain part of who we are, and that one day we will gather in a place where there is no more pain, no more dying, and no more grief. Please stand as I call your family member's name. Aaron Adams, music. Jerry Alfred Adams. Amy Mackin. Ann Smith. Arthur Adkins. Betty Dunavant. Betty Neal Kaysen. Bernita Chin. Catherine Eleanor Trentacosta. Charles Edward Galloway. Charles Edward Scherer. Deborah Rivas. Doris Hotham. Edward Lamar Jenkins. Evelyn White. Francis Enyart. Herbert Weaver Sr. James Womack. Lily Atkinson. Louise Hewitt Aldridge. Marion Gordon Weatherby. Mary Mann. Michael Bryant. Miguel Gire. Norman Franklin III. Ozzie Mills Jr. Rafael Balagas. Rochelle McCrae. Sonia Wilkes. Thelma Thomas. Anita Alt. Ann Barton. Annie White. Benji Fernando Williams. Betty Benson. Bill Mays. Charles Samuel Davis. Constance Elizabeth Reed Washington. Cora Adams. Deborah Shellnut. Elizabeth Swift Tuthill. Avenita Holder. Jean Dixon. George Longs. George Muse Derricata Jr. James Burton. Jennifer Renee Rock. Joan Claire Kilgore. Joe Madden. John Arthur Haslinger. John Caruso. Latoya Maddox. Lois M. Stallworth. Lois Stallworth. Donna Stallworth. Everett Hansen. Neil Penn. Pamela Loudermilk. Porter Reynolds Andrews. Sarah Jane Sherrill. Troy Oliver Rutledge, Jr. Mary F. Rutledge. Tully Bostick. Valeria Johnson Powell. Victoria Hodges. Walter Long Stearman. Willard and Carolyn Allen. Lurleen Layler. And we know that some of you are joining us by live stream, and we lift you up as well. Please stand if you were served by Longleaf, but your loved one's name was not called. Any Longleaf employees who have experienced losses in the last year, would you please stand? Please stand if you have experienced a loss in the last year, regardless of whether or not your family was served by Longleaf. We honor the memories of all who have lost loved ones over the last year. You are in our thoughts. You are in our prayers. With tears and laughter, we dip into the deep well of love and memory. May these memories and those unspoken nourish you and keep comforting you.
Good afternoon. My name is Andrew Passadag, and I'm a chaplain with Longleaf in our Atlanta office. And I appreciate those words, and we do want to remember and honor the lives of those that we had the privilege of serving. And so I appreciate Wendy and Dara's comments about the privilege and opportunity that it is that we consider it to be to have known your loved one. For me, I see it as a sacred privilege, quite frankly, that you would allow us to come into your lives. And it's always a blessing. As Dara said, you know, our lives are made up of those remembrances and those memories of people that we had in our lives. And I think God brings people into our lives for a reason and a season. And so we want to always remember them. And so in your bulletin, if you have one, is a poem that we are going to say as a responsive reading. And it's entitled, "We Remember Them." And if you don't have a bulletin, you can simply, if you can remember the phrase, because this is your response, we remember them. That's what you want to say, okay? And I will be reading, and then you all respond, and then at the end I will join you in remembering them. And so again, this is entitled "We Remember Them" by Rabbi Sylvian Commons and Jack Reamer. At the rising of the sun and its going down, at the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, at the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring, at the blueness of the skies and in the warmth of summer, at the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, at the beginning of the year and when it ends, when we are weary and in need of strength, when we are lost and sick of heart, when we have joy we crave to share. As long as we live, they too will live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them.
Over the past year, the staff of Longleaf Hospice has the great honor of caring for 88 veterans as they completed their journey on this earth. Among these veterans, 16 served in the United States Air Force, 45 served in the United States Army, 4 served in the United States Marine Corps, 15 served in the United States Navy, 2 served in the United States National Guard. 1 served in the Gulf War. 19 served in the Vietnam War. 16 served in Korea. And 14 were from the greatest generation World War II veterans. I would like to share with you the Veterans Creed. I am an American veteran. I proudly served my country. I live the values I learned in the military. I continue to serve my community, my country, and my fellow veterans. I maintain my physical and mental discipline. I continue to lead and improve. I'll make a difference. I honor and remember my fallen comrades. Thank you.
And so we are coming to the conclusion of our service, and we want you to know that we still care about you and your loved one. It, again, is, we all feel, and I speak on behalf of my colleagues, that we want to say thank you for the tremendous blessing we had in caring for and the privilege of knowing your loved one. And I wanted to close with a blessing that is often referred to as Aaron's blessing. It is known by what's oftentimes referred to as the Abrahamic faiths, that of Islam, Judaism, and Christianity all recognize this blessing, and it's found in Numbers 6:23 to 27. And my father has been retired for many years, and he, in his retirement years, became an archaeologist, and a biblical archaeologist at that, and has been on many, many digs. And he informed me that, and showed me actually, that the oldest portion of the Bible, or the sacred scriptures of the Torah, the oldest portion that's ever been found was written on a copper scroll and had these very words. And so I just think it's a blessing in itself to know that God kind of restored these words for you. And so I offer them to you as a blessing. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.
Just wanted to thank all of you for being here today. It means a lot to our staff to be able to be with you in remembering. And I also wanted to say, if you'd like your loved one's stone, please just stay seated, and our Longleaf staff, someone will come up to you and find out who you are, and they'll bring it back to you. So, and on behalf of all of the Longleaf staff, thank you for being here, and just wishing all of you more days of peace and ease.